spent years going to company functions, going to business forums, but at the end of the day, I realized that the only people I knew or I would know at the end of the event were the people I already knew. If it was a business function, you found that maybe when I go there, either I would meet someone I know there or I would go with someone I know. And then at the end of the day, we're just chatting away in our own corner, and then I don't network with anyone else. If it was at work, then I would go with my own circle of people I work with. And at that business function, they were the only people I would work with, I would talk to, or would laugh and chat in a corner. So at the end of the day, I realized that my network was not growing, despite that I was attending these functions. The only people I knew were the only people that continued to be in my network. After that, I decided to make a change. And today I'm going to share with you some of the tips that I use. You need to attend the relevant functions where you intend to do your networking. If you're networking for business, then make sure you attend business functions. If it's networking for social, then you make sure you attend the relevant social functions. Another tip is that before you go to these functions, you need to have a goal. What is your goal for going to these functions? Are you looking for increasing your network? Or are you looking at maybe putting in hours in a community? Or are you looking at learning, what other business developments are there in your network? So have a goal before you go to these functions. Another tip is you need to know that networking is not confined to certain hours. To say maybe I network during business hours. There are times when, after work, you go to the gym, or you go to your child's class, or you're just at some other function, that you attend during the weekend. It is also an opportunity for you to network, because you never know, who you meet at these functions. So making sure that your mind is open, that any time is networking time, will ensure that you'll also grow your network. When you go to these functions, you need to know your worth. What is it that you're selling? If it's a product, you need to know your product in and out. So if it's if you're selling yourself, then you need to know your brand, such that when you present your brand to people, they will know, and they will see from the way you're talking about your brand that you really know it inside out. And then you need to know some icebreakers. I know it is very difficult, to talk to total strangers, but if you have icebreakers that are there, at the tip of your fingers, then it makes everything so much easier. Some icebreakers you could use are, you approach somebody and say, oh, you like maybe their tie or their shoes or maybe their hair, just something to break the ice and start a conversation. Or you could just ask them which industry they are in, and get them to talk about themselves. That in itself also is a good icebreaker. And you could also bring a buddy. I know that walking in a room full of strangers all by yourself, you feel like every eye is on you. But if you have a buddy, then you know that at least when you walk into your room, you have someone to lean on, or you have some backup with you. But make sure that you and your buddy do not tuck yourselves away in a corner and chat away the whole night. Otherwise, it defeats the whole purpose. This buddy is just for you to fall on, but make sure you move around and you network. If it becomes overwhelming, take a break, go outside, breathe, because I know there's some people who are introverts. Talking to people really is a task for you. But if you feel overwhelmed, go outside, take a walk, breathe some fresh air, and when you feel ready, then you can come back in again and resume the networking. When you network, find a reason to make a follow-up. Find out what the person you're talking to likes, maybe seminars or some articles, or just something that they really like, such that when you come across those things, you can always forward to them, get in touch with them. And I'm not talking about spamming their inbox, daily emails, how are you, how is this? I'm talking about here and there, getting in touch with them with something relevant, something that they'll find useful. That way you maintain contact such that at a time when you really need them, they'll not ask who it is, who is this, they will know who it is because of the frequent or the usual contact that you do with them. Also, don't be negative when you're networking. People find it in bad taste. You're talking to people and you're talking negatively about some company or about some other person. That is really not in good taste. Make sure whatever you talk about is something which is positive, constructive, and people will find useful. Also, networking is a two-way relationship. You see, don't be taking all the time. Relationships like that don't last. Every time you're asking for a favor, you never give anything in return. That relationship will not last. And then at the end of the day, you should know what you want. And don't be afraid to ask for what you want from the relevant people that you network with. I hope these tips will work for you, just as they have really worked for me. They've improved my networking skills, and I hope they will do the same for you. Otherwise, thank you for watching. Subscribe and like this video, and have a great week.